Okay, so there's a dip in confidence here. So a lot of you might have been left behind by the other party. So you are coming into this with a little bit of like a dip in your self-esteem, a dip in, your sense of optimism. So travel is indicated. It also tells me that there is going to be a lot of success, regardless of, that self-doubt that is creeping in. I do sense that you've thought about this carefully. You are aware that the new situation is going to provide a lot more longevity. It is going to be a lot more exciting for you. But because you are physically kind of like displaced, this is a card of like the refugee, moving from their environment that they're used to, a familiar, sense of like surrounding, and into a very new situation. So you're going to feel like physically and emotionally kind of displaced, but I feel that it has a lot of good potential. Okay, so don't be afraid of it. So at the same time, this King of Swords, for those of you who are dealing with an air sign, I do feel this person is very like curt, very instrumental in getting projects started. Okay, this is a very decisive energy. So just know that whatever happened here, someone is calling you back in, okay? And it is very important for you to be judicious about, be discriminate about why they are trying to get you to come back to that prior situation. And really don't waver in your resolve, okay? You're actually in a good place, and this dip in self-esteem is going to like cycle through that very like, the first week and a half. So you're going to have to rein in your intellect and especially your rationality in order to figure out why you left in the first place and to not put yourself back in that situation, okay? So be very careful about that. For those of you who are dealing with a water sign, a Cancer, a Pisces, or a Scorpio, I'm getting it might be like a Cancer person. I feel that the Cancer person is very like rational, is very emotionally um, they might come off as emotionally immature, but in terms of like material success, in terms of like prestige in the outer world, they are quite cutthroat about it. Okay, so it's kind of like I'm getting here that even though it's a water sign that you're dealing with, I do sense in general that they mean well. They have a very good heart, and they're there when you need them. However, the emotional depth might be lacking in this relationship, either from your end or from their end. Okay, so if it's a work situation, if it's in any type of an interpersonal relationship that you're dealing with, you're not really like operating on the same wavelength. Okay, this is also your card here. And if you look at the astrological symbolism of Leo is ruled by the sun. So I do see here, this is your energy is being suppressed in this person's midst. Okay, so that's something to watch out for and figure out why that is. Is it because they are questioning your the things you say? They are questioning, the abilities for you to carry out your plans. If that's the case, I don't feel they are operating from a bad place. They are just very rational. Okay, if they are questioning whether or not you care about them in a romantic setting, if they are giving, basically it's kind of like if they're jealous, or if they're kind of like whiny or even like difficult to deal with on an emotional level in a romantic setting, I do feel at the same time they're not aware of it, because the page energy is a very young person. It's somebody who might not be totally emotionally mature, or they are lacking emotional depth. So you might have problems on the romantic front with this person. But I do feel that in general, they have a good heart and they're operating from a good place. So if this is somebody that you're dealing with from the past, just be discerning about why they're coming back. So maybe a lot of you might be, leaving behind a water sign and moving forward with an air sign, for example. In that case, it looks very good. It looks very, very good. But this air sign tends to ask a lot of questions. So, be prepared for that, okay? It's not a bad energy. I feel like as a king energy, male or female, it's somebody who's very level-headed. So in general, I do feel that for you, I sense in general that there is a little bit of a communication problem if you are dealing with an air sign. Okay, it's a different energy, and especially if you are dealing with like so air signs are Aquarius, Geminis, and Libras, and we do have Mercury in retrograde until June 11th, so that is going to be affecting, interpersonal communications, and there are definitely differences in the ways in which you both communicate. So that's something that's coming in, and that's something to be aware of. The energy is going to dissipate, towards the end of towards the last week of June. So just, take it with a grain of salt, and just don't take things to heart, because this person has a very curt demeanor. They don't mean any harm by it because they're in the upright position. But I do feel that it can hurt your ego, okay? So they'll like cut you down if your ideas don't really pan out, okay? And at the same time, I feel that you are in the reverse position here, so you might not be operating at your best. So take other people's advice into account as well when you make decisions. They actually might give you a very fresh, new perspective that will help you streamline whatever it is that you're trying to implement in your life, okay? So the other option that is coming in is, this is the card of illusions, okay? The Seven of Cups. There are a lot of things opening up for you. You have high hopes, high expectations, and everything is like going according to plan for you. So what I do sense here is, with the Chariot in the upright position, underneath it is this with the Seven of Cups. A lot of you might be wondering if you can, what you should proceed with, okay? So it's kind of dangerous that you are surrounded by two cups energy, because you're operating from a place of um emotional like you're using your emotions to make decisions, which is not a bad thing. I don't feel that it's a bad thing, but this person is trying to get you to see the long-term ramifications of your actions. So they are providing a pretty good balance. So you're acting from pure emotions, and they're giving you, that I guess like almost like an opposing energy, mainly to help you get through it in a way that is more conducive for long term, for longevity and things like that, okay? So keep that in mind. We do have opposing elements here, water, air, okay? And then you're a fire sign. So there are a lot of just people giving inputs and things like that. Okay, so then we have the Strength card. This is also your card. So I do feel a new sense of like progress is coming in. This is interesting. I actually just did the reading for Cancer. So for those of you who are dealing with a Cancer person on any type of an interpersonal relationship, like even work, if you are funding an investment opportunity for a Cancer, I do feel that this person has come a long way. So it's actually a good person for you to invest in. But please do it the end of this month, when Mercury is completely out of its retrograde period. So in the Cancer spread, you have the same person coming through. So I feel like it might be Cancer, Leo. So you might be, their new love interest. You might be the new investor for their projects. But either way, it looks very favorable. Just make sure you wait until the end of the month to do it. And, the end of the month too is indicative of new beginnings for you both, okay? For you and this other person, if you are helping them finance something. For it could be for you on a new romantic front. A water sign and possibly an air sign are both coming in for you. And as well in your work environment, I do feel that, this is the card of the apprentice, okay? So you are learning a new craft, you are learning a new skills, you are also possibly in a supervisory role in which you are teaching others how to do something a little bit better. So like to learn, you're teaching a new craft to another person, or you are trying to help them streamline their work processes, okay? So as a result, they are graduating from being a page to like being a knight, okay? It's almost like happening overnight, and it's happening towards like the last 2 weeks of the month. So they are very appreciative of your guidance, okay? So you're in a good place for this month. I feel that it's sort of like this. Initially, there are communication problems, there are roadblocks, and this person is kind of like stubborn. This person is just stubborn. They're not very resistant and whatever. They're not very receptive, excuse me, towards whatever it is that you're trying to teach them. And then towards the end of the month, they realize that you are a valuable asset in their training situation and that you are really, really trying your best to help them. So they're letting down their wall and they're not going to ask, all these jarring questions. They're just going to accept whatever it is that you have to say and they're going to roll with it. And because of it, it brings about a very, very good new beginning in the work environment, in the relationship as well. So, in general, this is a very favorable month for you. I'm trying to see if I've left anything out here, but it's just interesting that I saw the same card for Cancer. So a lot of you might be dealing with a Cancer. It could also be a Pisces or Scorpio, but I do feel strongly it might be a Cancer. And if it's a love relationship, I do feel that it is looking very favorable. Okay, this is kind of like this is sincerity. This is somebody that has come from. This is someone who's very gentlemanly. It could also be womanly, someone who's very feminine as well. It's not gender specific, but what I am sensing here is the one thing I would say is don't act on your urges. Okay, so it's kind of like calming that inner beast within you. You might be really fascinated by this person, and you might want to just go for it and think about the ramifications later. I don't feel that they have anything to hide. That's the thing. But try to do it the last week of the month when Mercury is completely out of its shadow period, so that you at least have all the information you need, okay? And this person is coming in with a lot of sincerity. And I do feel in general they have a very, very good heart. He or she has a very good heart. So calm your inner beast, just like play it cool. Not to Don't play hard to get, but I would say play it cool, mainly because it is underneath the King of Swords. So there is a little bit of kind of like I wouldn't say it's a foreboding. I wouldn't call it that because that sounds a little bit too somber, but it's kind of like be careful, being careful. I have a be careful type of energy here, and you don't have anything to fear, but I do feel that you have to delay it until the absolute last week of this month in order for you to move forward with this. If you don't, there are like work obstacles, there are communication problems that are going to, throw the wrench in the works. There are self-esteem issues that might also affect this situation. And I feel like it's going to affect you more negatively than the other person. So just be very, very careful about that, okay? At the same time, you are moving from something that was potentially, hurtful, like emotionally it was draining. Okay, so you want to heal properly first in order for you to attract people of a higher vibration. Okay, so when we're like down in the dumps, when we're not operating at our best, we are less discerning about the people we get involved with. When we have like self-esteem issues, then it's not the right time for us to attract positive people who are operating on a higher vibration, higher wavelength. Okay, so you want to heal from this emotional baggage first before you start to even like before you start dating more than anything. Okay, so for those of you who are out and about, single and dating, I do sense in general that there is going to be a water sign in the picture for you, a water sign, an air sign. You might have a stumbling block with this air sign who asks too many questions, but I do feel that he or she is very rational. So, don't cross them off the list because I do feel that it's a king energy. So it's somebody who's quite accomplished, who's quite intelligent. So you might be intimidated. And then later on, towards the end of the month, you might encounter somebody who is of a water element. I'm sensing here. So this is a person that you get along with. Like people say, opposites attract. So I do feel that there's going to be immense attraction here. So you're just going to want to jump the gun, but just make sure you wait until the end of the month in order to do that. Okay, so for those of you who are in established relationship, I do feel that the first 2 weeks There's a strong energy that I am sensing here, and with the three type of energy, with the sun in the reverse position, for those of you who are in a love triangle type of situation, you're going to decide by the end of this month who you want to proceed with, okay? That's coming in very, very strongly. For those of you who are, in a love relate triangle against your will, it's like your partner is stepping out of that relationship. I do feel that you are going to walk away from it, and you might have already in the month of May, because Mercury in retrograde started on May 18th, and it brings a lot of new information to light. So you might have walked out of that relationship. You might have traveled to a new location. You might have like tried to reestablish yourself, your home environment, your work situation. You might have tried to like um, reinvent yourself, and especially in creating like that new home or either work environment without the other person, okay? So all of this emotional baggage from your life is going to be kind of like cut off, okay? So it's happening right now. The first week is done and over. So the first week for June is going to be residual energy, and then your life is going to take off, okay? So don't worry, you're going to have a wonderful, wonderful month. For those of you in love root triangles, and I do feel I'm very confident that by the end of this month, you are going to be able to proceed with clear knowledge that you are doing the right thing. Okay, so new beginnings are happening for you. And for those who are not in love triangles, who are like happily established in relationships, who are married, there is a sense of like a graduation in the emotional depth of this relationship. So in the past, your partner might not have been supportive, for example. And then towards the end of this month, there is a communication breakthrough between the two of you, I feel. So then he or she is going to be able to like revitalize the love, the affection, the commitment, like a renewal in the commitment in this relationship. Okay, so either way, no matter what side of the coin you fall under, if you're single, dating, or in established relationships, I do feel that you are going to end this month on a very high note. New beginnings are indicated here. The people in your midst are quite sincere. Okay, so we have three court cards. Two of them are in the upright position. You're in a good place. You're getting good support, and in general, you have a lot of success here. So you have the Chariot, which is going to, I feel like it's going to trump this card, mainly because it's coming out right on the heel of, moving forward. So I do feel in general that you're going to be okay. So don't fret, get through the first week, and just know that the energy of the first week is going to end right here, okay?